so annoyed with technology at the minute. My selfie stick's broke. My Wi-Fi went down just so I was trying to get on the live with you guys. But I'm here. I'm holding the phone though, which is less than ideal. I was going to go outside and do it because it's a gorgeous night. So I was going to sit at the table outside on the side of the mountain, and I kid you not, you never hear anything out up here. You might hear like the odd creature. We've got all sorts like mountain lions, wild boar, and you might hear dogs the other side of the mountain that seem like they're quite close, but it's just like echoing off the mountain. Hey Kerry, hey Karen. You never hear a thing. Hey Jackie, I've just gone out to do the live out there tonight thinking, oh, that'll be lovely. And somebody across the other side of the mountain, like, so it dips down into a valley and then goes up, the house across there are like chainsawing something. And although they're miles away, it just echoes straight off. I was like, you literally couldn't call it. So then I've come up here to set up in my office. And my selfie stick just snapped. So I'm like, for fuck's sake. But I'm here. And I've not been, have I, for the last couple of weeks? Have you missed me? Who's there? Hey Sue, hey Helen, how you doing? Kerry was having a Monday night panic thinking that you couldn't find me. Yeah, so the last couple of weeks I made them like catch-up weeks for Soul-Centered Millionaire TV because I know that if there was a lot of people on holiday, I was spending time with family for my birthday, and I made it a catch-up week so you guys could catch up with some of the videos that you might have missed. Doing one every week, you know, it can be difficult sometimes to catch up if you miss some. So you had that opportunity. I hope you made the most of it. But I want to talk tonight about, I don't want to bang on about like what's going on in the world and coronavirus and make out that like it's difficult at the minute to build a business, increase financial success, because it's not difficult at all. And I don't want it to be another video where someone's going on about that, because it's old news, isn't it? I mean, I know it's, you know, still relevant, but I don't know about you, you kind of get sick of hearing, don't you, about Corona and hey Ola, hey Rochelle, hey Kirsty. Yeah, you get sick of hearing it, you don't get sick of talking about it, and you just kind of want it gone now, and I get that. So that's not my intention tonight. But there are some businesses that are absolutely killing it in 2020 that I know of and have had the privilege of working alongside and supporting. And the big reason for that is that they have pivoted to accommodate the year that we find ourselves in, like it or not. You know, it's a weird one, one that none of us expected. And the businesses that are seeing explosive, ridiculous amounts of growth and financial success are the ones that have made the best out of a seemingly shit situation. And I know that there are people that struggle to do that because they don't know how. And that hurts my heart for those people. And if you're one of them and you have found this year to be particularly challenging financially, or you've missed goals that you really expected to hit this year, or you've had to accommodate the pandemic and other stuff in a way that's seen you not reach your potential, or even if you found things so hard that you found yourself in financial crisis, this is for you tonight. If you know you maybe aren't fully maximising on 2020 yet. Hey Sean in Tenerife. If you know that you could be and should be doing way more volume in your business, earning way more money, but feel like you're lost in how to do that, then this is for you tonight. And if you know for certain that there is people out there that are killing it in 2020, that haven't been affected by the pandemic, or have been affected but only in a good way, and you find yourself feeling shit about yourself because you have been affected and it has been tough for you, and it might not be the pandemic, it might be something else in 2020. Hey Tony, this is for you. Because I get it, and I get that you don't know what you don't know. And I say that a lot, because I see it a lot in people. If you don't know what you don't know, you don't even know what questions to ask sometimes to find the answer to these things. And that can be really tough. And nothing pains me more than seeing fucking awesome women with amazing businesses that could make a difference in the world struggle, quit. So many people have quit this year, have accepted the fact that, oh, it's just too hard now, or I'm gonna have to go and get a job, and then put their dreams so much on the back burner that they become bottom of the to-do list, bottom of the priority list, and that makes me really, really sad. So we're drawing a line under that tonight. Hey, Caroline, thank you. I did have a lovely birthday. Thank you for asking. So I want to share with you some businesses, examples and stories that are absolutely thriving, why they're thriving and how, what's made the difference for them, so that you can take away some inspiration from that, some hope, but also some tangible things to consider for yourself. I can see some of you saying business is better than ever. High five to that. I'm so happy to hear that. Good for you. And even if business is better than ever, but you're thinking, yeah, but I could still be doing more. Great. This is for you too. This was actually inspired tonight by an encounter that I had last week. So James and I have been looking at property over the last week again, because we love a property project, as you know. We are literally not even rested from this massive renovation of our home that we've been doing, and we're already on to the next one because we've got the bug. We love it, absolutely love it, and working hard on our property portfolio, and started looking at some property purely for investment purposes over the last couple of weeks. And last week we met a guy who is a real estate agent here in Spain, and he opened my eyes a little bit to how real estate agency works here. It's a bit different to the UK. The commission's quite high for these guys, but it's cutthroat and it's a bit like the Wild West. I will keep you posted on the new house. I'll reveal all as soon as we know more. We're just choosing between a few at the minute. We've got some final viewings this week, and we're getting our team in there, like the workmen that we've been using for this project are going to go in there and give us quotes on stuff so that we know roughly how much the reno is going to cost before we do anything. But I'll keep you posted. I know some of you love to like see all the reno work and stuff, so I'll share that. But we met with this guy, and he got me thinking, because real estate agency in southern Spain, you would think, wouldn't you, that 2020 would have been horrific for him. He's self-employed, so he only gets paid when he sells houses. He's working in a country that was hit very hard by the pandemic, that heavily relies on tourism, and the people that tend to be buying the properties out here currently don't have as much money as they have normally had, so properties aren't selling as well. And you could think that his business and income would have dropped, but it hasn't. It's thrived. And the reason it's thrived is because he's niched down into investors. Because of course you've got two types of people when things get tough, haven't you? You've got the people that shrink back, pull back. The majority of people do that. 80, 90% of people shrink back, pull back, plan for a crisis, get a crisis. And then you've got a small percentage of people, the entrepreneurs amongst us, that are going, okay, I smell opportunity. Because where people are pulling back, if I forge forward, then we're going to be in very different places in the next couple of years. Where people are feeling too scared to make bold decisions, I will stand grounded in abundance and move forward in ways that some people maybe wouldn't at the minute. And he knows that. He knows that because he's an agent that has dealt with investors before, and knows that this is the time where people like me and other investors are going to be on the hunt for a deal, and are going to get the deals. So he's niched into investors, and all of his marketing has been geared towards people that are looking he's from London, he's really funny. He's like, honestly, mate, you can just nick houses at the minute. You can just nick them. You just nick them off people because they're just giving them away. And he's so funny. But he has channeled all of his marketing, all of his conversations, his sales, everything is geared towards people that are looking to invest in property at a time that is the right time, where people are selling at ridiculous prices. So of course, when I saw his messaging, it appealed to me because that's me. Everything he said spoke to me, and I thought, well, out of the sea of agents on the coast, there are thousands of them. He stood out to me because he spoke my language. He appeared to know my needs. He appeared to be specialised in catering for my needs. So of course, he's the person that I chose to call above all of these thousands and thousands of agents. And we've built a really good relationship with him. We went out for dinner a couple of times. He's great at networking. He's a nice accent, not really. He's great at networking, so he's recognised that we're people that are going to continue to invest in property over the coming years, and we will need a go-to real estate agent. He's determined to be that person. So he spent a lot of time and effort building the relationship, making us feel safe with him, gaining our trust, and he's now our real estate agent. And what's he doing? He's pivoted. He's focused in the right area at the right time. And I asked him a few personal questions as a business coach because I was interested, like sort of, sales turnover before Corona, after Corona, and how he's been affected. And he's absolutely thriving, more so than he was a year ago because of this pivot. He's a proper entrepreneur. He's maximising at a time where most people are too panicked to. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about other businesses that I've worked with, encountered in 2020, that through what you would think would be impossible for them. I've picked ones that are like really quite exceptional stories to share with you. And I'm going to give you a snippet of information about them, anonymously, of course, but what their business is, how they pivoted, what results they got because they pivoted, so that you can take away some ideas for you and your business. Even if you've never been in business before, you can take away ideas from this stuff. So the first person I want to tell you about, and there are three, and then I'm going to give you some stuff to get your hands on at the end of this as well, so that you can begin to pivot yourself. The first one was a luxury travel planner. So a travel agent that had already done a really good job at niching down into luxury travel. So she positioned herself in a high-end market, been in travel for a few years, and spent a lot of time and effort and energy positioning herself in that high-end market, building relationships. Most of her clients at the point that I met her were older, wealthy, sort of about to retire or semi-retired, investors, bankers, high net worth individuals that travelled a few times a year to really luxury destinations, wanted the best of the best. So she'd have to sell only a few holidays a year to make a really good commission with each client, versus a travel agent that's bashing out, really affordable, cheap and cheerful holidays and has to work a lot harder. And she'd recognised that a few years before and worked really hard to position herself in that market. However, good old pandemic hit, and her ideal client, a lot of them are 60, 65. There's no way they wanted to get on planes and do all the things that they were doing the year before. So the arse fell out of her business overnight, and it was a really, really scary time for her. Panic set in. She's a smart woman with a lot of success under her belt already, but she's not exempt from panic, is anybody? She panic set in. She started to think, shit. She could see all of the holidays being cancelled, the refunds being issued, the calls drying up with new clients booking holidays was drying up, and she started to think, I need to pivot. And that's where we had our first initial conversation and developed a pivot business plan. And we pivoted into luxury staycations. So high-end luxury staycations with a difference. Home country holidays that don't compromise on your standard that you normally have for your holiday. Don't compromise on experience. Don't compromise on relaxation, and all the things that are really important for you. Means you can still get away, but you can do it safely, and you can do it without having to travel on an aeroplane, a boat, etc. So she came up with packages for these luxury staycations for her existing clientele. They can afford it. Money's not their problem. They're not overly affected. Their pension isn't overly affected by the pandemic, but they need something different. So part of that strategy and that pivot, once establishing what these packages and marketing messages need to look like, was to then start reaching out to these people. So everybody that was cancelling their holiday will be reimbursed for their booking, rather than just saying to them, we can move it till next year, which is what most agents were doing. She said, look, we can do that if you want to do that. But if you want a holiday this year and you feel gutted that you're not going to be able to get away, we could transfer it to one of my luxury high-end staycations. It's from my high net worth clients. Doesn't compromise on quality, luxury, relaxation. But you don't need to go as far or put yourself at risk to have it. Let me give you some options. She asked them some questions on the call about what they'd like, what they wouldn't like, and then she went away and like tailor-made these really awesome high-end holidays for these people. So most of her bookings didn't lose, and she didn't lose it to next year because she didn't have to. Some she did, a small percentage, but it didn't matter, because then she made up for that with new bookings. Because then what we did was came up with a bit of a script to go to anybody that has ever booked with her, not just the people that have already booked and cancelled or had their holiday compromised, but people that had ever booked ever in the 3 years that she'd been in business. And started having conversations with them saying, I've got this for you, I'm really excited about it. It's only for my loyal customers that have booked with me previously. It's super high-end, super luxury. She spoke their language and said, if you're worried that you're not going to be able to get away this year, I've got a solution for you that's dead safe. She hit on all the things that were on their mind, because we made sure we knew our ideal client. We made sure we'd stepped into their shoes and really done the work on what language would need to be used. Before the pandemic, just before the pandemic hit, so this is sales from January, February and March, and taking into account 2019 average, we were doing, I say we like it's my business as well, don't I? Because it's how involved I get with people's businesses. I'm like, we were doing. But she was doing 4,500 per month profit, pure profit in the bank after tax, after everything's been paid. She was getting in her hand about $4,500 a month before. The last 3 months, so this is July, because we haven't closed August yet, July, June and May, because we had a bit of a dodgy April because we were doing this work, we've averaged £11,600 per month in commission. Pure profit. So, and I actually asked this question, if you could go back and change things, of course we'd never choose the pandemic. I'm not saying that at all, because health-wise and people have lost their lives, for God's sake. I'm not saying that. But if you could go back and have to do 2020 again, are you glad that there was a curveball thrown that made you up your game and think about what you could do different and how you can maximise? And she was like, yes, absolutely. I'm not joking, you can turn this into the best thing. 2020 can be the best thing that ever happened to you. It can. Anything can, no matter how tough. Second example I want to share with you. This was a conflict resolution coach. And I'm still working with her, actually. Really excited, because we've not even scratched the surface. Wait till you hear this. Conflict resolution coach. And she worked in corporate relationships. So she'd go into big businesses, big corporations, and run conflict resolution, like workshops, trainings. She'd work with their like high-end, their high like top leaders, and basically help people to communicate through conflict better. So it's like leadership training effectively. And she's done this for years. This isn't a new business. She's done it for like 10 years, not an online business. Always gone into these companies and built a reputation, and she's gone into their training rooms and got people together in a room, and of course she couldn't do that anymore. And pivoting just online wasn't going to cut it. So you couldn't just say, well, okay, we'll take the workshop online and do an online Zoom with these people. It wasn't going to cut it, because it wasn't just the fact that you couldn't get people in a room because you couldn't have that that close contact. It was because the businesses were making cuts. The corporations that were affected by the pandemic were having to claw back some money somewhere. And the first thing to go was people like her, trainers, outside companies, you know, contractors, etc. So she was finding that she was getting people cancel for the next 6 months. Again, when we spoke, she was panic struck because she was earning about 5k a month consistently profits, and that's not a bad income for anyone. But she was spending 5k a month, which is really common actually. And that's more about like financial management, money mindset. But there wasn't much left. You know, she got a nice house, car, kids, private school. There was a lot going on. And if she had just a couple of months where she wasn't earning, she went from, you know, doing all right to crisis like that. And that's most people. So the pivot, here's what we did. We looked at, how is your skill set valuable to a different type of person? Because I know you've always applied your conflict resolution model, because she's got her own model of training model and everything. She's always applied it to corporations. How can we pivot the ideal client? Who else would benefit from conflict resolution? And who would benefit now more than ever? And we sat with that for a bit. We started doing a bit of research. One of the things that we stumbled upon, which is really interesting, is that there were so many relationships in conflict through lockdowns, and changes in so many people's lives have changed, transformed this year. You know, some people are working from home that have never worked from home before. Some people have been locked in with their wife, husband, partner, and not been able to leave the house. They've gone from hardly seeing each other to living in each other's pockets. And there's been a massive spike in relationship counselling, divorce, like couples have gone into crisis. And it's all conflict resolution. It's the same stuff that she was teaching that could be applied to a relationship dynamic, a romantic relationship dynamic. So we rebranded quick, we marketed quick with different messaging for couples in crisis, conflict resolution for couples in crisis, with a very fast 12-week turnaround time that said, if you have found that that this year has put a strain on your relationship, and your relationship means more to you than anything, and you want to fix it and fix it quick, and you're willing to do the work, then we have a 12-week solution for you that will transform your relationship and mean that this year was the best thing that ever happened to you. Your relationship will be stronger than it ever has before. And that's what the message that she led with. We started networking in different areas with different people. But we drew on all the experience. This is someone that has worked with some big names, and we listed these big names and said, we've helped resolve conflict that's resulted in $1 million deals. We've helped resolve conflict that saved companies. Then they gave some examples. But this conflict resolution between people can apply to a romantic relationship too, and we're going to show you how. She was doing about between 5,000 and 5,500 a month pre-pandemic. Now, best month ever. Last month, just this last month, she did 24,000. She's working online now, so she's not up and down the motorway, sat in stuffy training rooms. She's at home, sometimes in her slippers with a bro. It's changed her life. This year has changed her life for the better, because she decided it was going to. Third example, and then I'm going to move into giving you some tangible things that you can do today after this call. This is a beauty salon owner. And I think this story is phenomenal, because the beauty industry has been really challenged along with the travel industry, you know, property industry and many others. Beauty industry has been one of the biggest affected in some countries, especially in the UK, and this lady is English. Because salons still aren't open in the UK, I believe. They weren't when I went on holiday anyway. if they've opened in the last few weeks. I might be wrong now, but they weren't open, and they had no plans to open them. So this lady was a salon owner. She'd ran her salon, very well established salon, I think 7-8 years in business, good clientele built up, spent a lot of time building it, got a great team behind her. They've all been furloughed. She couldn't afford to pay the team. She got behind on a rent on the salon. She got some government grants that had tied her over a little bit, but with no end in sight, she panicked, and she doesn't want to just get by. That's not who she is. She's a business owner, an entrepreneur. She wants to thrive. So she was really frustrated. She wasn't so much frightened when we met. She was frustrated. And she was like in the mindset of just fucking someone show me what to do and I'll do it. Like, watch me go. I need to thrive again. I'm just coping and just watching everything I've built disintegrate, and it's soul destroying and no more. Like, she was really motivated for change when we spoke. She specialises in microblading and lash extensions, and she's fucking good at it, really good at it, which is why she's got such a good repeat business and why her salon was doing such a high turnover. And she's trained the people that work in the salon to do it at the same standard, and they've got a great reputation. The pivot, here's what we did. She became an online trainer, certifying in one of the first online schools to be able to teach long distance as well, teach the techniques for microblading and lash extensions. So from scratch, total newbie to fully qualified lash extension or microblading specialist. Can't remember how many weeks her course is, but across a period of time they become certified. So while people are in lockdown, while people can't work, while people have got grants from the government or they're thinking about changing direction in their career, she gave them an option. This might be what you want to do when you finish. Spend the time now while you've got nothing else to do, doing something productive and learning a new trade. If this is something you've always wanted to do, or maybe you're a beauty salon owner that already has a salon but you don't specialise in lash extensions or microblading, I can teach you how. And then the follow-on programme for that was to become a trainer. So she's got this great comprehensive training school now. She's invested a little bit in equipment. It didn't even cost that much to get the setup and the lighting so that she could show you on video tutorials how to do things and different techniques and record the videos. And most of it isn't live, most of it's pre-recorded, so people can just access the course. It doesn't take up any of her time. This is going to blow your mind. Pre-lockdown, she was earning about $3,500 a month, and she was working about 40 hours a week because salon owners, it's the nature of it. The overheads are really high. She's exchanging time for money because if she wasn't physically working on someone, she's not earning as much. Busy as is how she described her schedule when I spoke to her. Post-pandemic and post-lockdown, her last month was $14,000. 23 hours a week on average she's been working, and she didn't leave her house to earn it. How amazing is that? Seriously, guys, if travel agents and beauty salon owners and people that were working in training rooms in corporations can pivot and pivot fast, this pandemic, we didn't even know about it, did we really, in February? It really blew up in March. It's April, May, June, July, August. 5 months, guys, and these ladies have transformed their business, transformed their income, transformed their lives and way of working forever. If you speak to them, they're like, I don't think I'd go back. Like, even when everything goes back to normal, I'll never go back to working the way I was working, because it's opened my eyes to the fact that there was so much more I could have been doing, so much more I could have been earning, so much more life I could have been living, working in a different way. And it's not just businesses that have been affected by this. You know, one of my close family members works in medicine. She works with cancer patients and was spending loads of time up and down the motorway, and I helped very briefly. It was a tiny bit of consulting, just to say, why don't we introduce some online ways of working to do your meetings to reduce the risk? Because these people didn't know about, you know, using Zoom, webinars, and people's lives are being transformed every day in positive ways, and you can be in that trend. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to, this doesn't have to be the worst year ever. We don't have to be praying for 2020 to be over and can't wait for 2021 to start. It doesn't have to be your story. You can turn this into an inspiring story that inspires other people the positive change as well. So I am doing something to support you in this between now and September. The cut-off for this is September 30th. But you've got to be in this. You've got to be with me. You've got to be like eyeball to eyeball, toe to toe with me, going, let's go, Michelle. Like, I am ready. Like these people, these examples I've given you tonight, we're ready. So I am going to work with a small group of women on a big pivot. We're going to call it the big pivot. That's what the theme is, the big pivot. And this small group of women, whether you're pivoting an existing business or whether you're starting a business from scratch, it doesn't matter. We are going to maximise this year. This year isn't over, it's only August. I get that you're enjoying summer. This is why I'm saying we're not starting till the end of September. When the places are gone, they're gone now. I can't hold places for people. Like, you've got to be ready to say, in September, I'm committed to making 2020 the best year ever. Even if it started shit, it's not over yet. By the end of the year, I want to be one of these success stories. And that's my goal for you. I am going to be almost using you as test subjects. As stories, as case studies to share with people at the end of the year. This is what's fucking possible. This is what came out of our September Big Pivot group. By December, your lives are changed. You're doing something different. You're maximising in ways that you never imagined. The big pivot. So you are going to work with me and my team to either pivot your business in a way that means you can maximise this year, or to start from scratch. If you've never been in business before, that does not faze us at all. I'm working with a woman at the moment, just got off a call with her and the rest of the group. You know who you are. Some of you will have been on that call. James, dinner's ready, I'm coming. I've gone over. She has never been in business before. 12 weeks ago she started with us. And she's just done her first 10K month from scratch. So I don't care if you've never been in business before. It doesn't concern me as long as you're eager to learn and ready to go. Here's what you need to do if you think you might want to be part of the big pivot and be one of these people in this group. You need to either message me saying, more information, please, or comment below saying, more information, please. And we will know that you want more information on the big pivot, because that's all we're concentrating on over the next 10 days. In the next 10 days, the team and I will start a dialogue with you to see if the suitability is there, because it won't be for everybody. Way more applicants than we have places, for sure. We need people that fit a very certain criteria for this, ready for success, ready to invest in you. This isn't just free. Of course it isn't free. You've got to be ready to be in a premium environment. You've got to not say to me, I can't afford it, because it is so affordable. I'm making this no-brainer affordable for people. You've just heard some of the success stories and figures that will come out of this. Like, this is so affordable. But you've got to be prepared to put your money where your mouth is. You've got to be prepared to commit on a level you have never committed on before and run with me alongside you. And you've got to be ready to start at the end of September. So you get summer out the way, you can party, enjoy yourself, do everything that you've got planned for summer, go on holiday, whatever you're going to do, and know that massive change is coming your way by the end of September. So comment more information, please. Inbox me with more information, please. And we will open a dialogue with you. Part of that dialogue is going to involve a qualification call with me. So where we jump on a call, and you can ask me questions, of course, but I'm going to have a ton of questions for you as well to check that this is right for you, because everybody that does this is going to be a success story. I am determined, and you need to be as determined as me, because I can't do it for you. So part of the process will be a call with me, but the team will first shortlist you for those calls. Don't sit there thinking, oh, I'm not going to get through the qualification period. I don't know, like, oh, I might not get picked. Don't do that to yourself. Just, if you want it, push yourself forward for it. Stick your neck out and say, more information, please. And we'll be in contact with you. Everybody that applies will be spoken to by the team. I can't wait to hear from you. I'm going to have my dinner because James is going to kill me. Love you loads.